So I kind of lied to the listeners on one of the last episodes.
I bet you lie often in your life.
I don't. I'm a very nice person.
So you reserved it just for this moment to lie to the listeners.
Because I didn't even mean to do it.
Is that a lie then?
No, because I told them that we weren't going to do any more cabin movies for a while.
Right.
But now we're reviewing another cabin movie.
I don't believe Evil Dead is a cabin movie.
It takes place in a cabin.
Then I think I've had my mind changed.
That was easy.
We're reviewing another cabin movie.
Yes, we are. One of the best, if not, well, considering it's ranked third in my Evil Dead
Yeah, you're
rankings.
a little bit biased here. And
But
I'm
I don't
here
know.
to tell you why you're wrong.
After reviewing it again, it might move up. I don't know. It might.
Or
I don't
down.
know. It's hard to tell.
Or down.
We're down.
Or down.
Up.
It might go down.
Welcome to the Tangents of Horror podcast.
My name is Steven.
Oh, you took it. You took
Right
it.
out
You
of your
took
mouth.
it.
Right from you.
I'm Brandon. See, now it doesn't sound right.
And
'Cause I
now
sound like
we're-
I should go first because I go, I'm Brandon.
No, you're just egotistical.
And I'm Brandon.
And we're
there
watching.
you go.
And we're reviewing The Evil Dead.
The Evil Dead. We
My-
already watched it. I know you didn't fully say it, but you're going to say it. And
I've
that's
already
why we're
watched it.
reviewing it, because it was crazy that you wanted to watch it.
I didn't want to watch it. You forced my hand.
Yes, that's true.
Twisted my ankle.
That's not true, though,
Broke my
because I
wrist.
mentioned how it was made and
Yeah.
how indie it was, and you're like, whoa!
Yeah,
and
yeah, it sounds really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
You made it sound really cool, and you lied.
I did not lie.
The Evil Dead was a movie released in 1981.
Yeah.
Here's what
which
I know
blows
about
my
it.
mind.
21-year-old director at the time, Sam Raimi, came out with this feature film
After he did a little short film.
after some short films in high school for all the kids to
Or
watch.
college.
He did them
It
both.
might have been high school.
He started at high school.
He started a high school.
He
Whoa.
started high school. I call him Principal Raimi.
that's what he gets everyone on set to call him.
I heard.
If
Listen,
you don't know who Sam Raimi is, that means you've never seen the OG Spider-Man trilogy.
yes, where he's the doorman.
No, that's... Don't confuse the listeners.
Oh.
That's Bruce Campbell. He plays Ash Williams.
They're not the same person, but
No.
kind of Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
It could
situation.
be. It could be. Except
I've never seen them both on the same
I have.
picture. Okay.
Unfortunately, I have.
Shit. Okay, I'm going to toss that.
Sorry.
1981 was a crazy time
I always think this came out later. I'm not going to lie, because it's insane.
because it looks so ahead of its time.
Yeah.
Actually,
I mean,
unironically.
there's so many things in the movie. Like, I was showing you interviews with, like, Quentin Tarantino and shit.
Yeah.
There's so many things in the movie that were being done for the
Yeah.
first time.
Oh, yeah.
Like the camera in the woods.
81 is
and
crazy early for the shit they were doing.
I always think it's mid-80s.
See, I thought it was an 85 movie the entire
That's what
time
I
I'm
always
watching
say.
it. Yeah.
And then I look it up, I'm like, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
goddamn.
Holy shit, ahead of its time. For a fucking young guy, young director, I love that so much.
And like most cabin movies, it starts with 5 students
Yeah.
going to a cabin.
But with a twist on the rule, a male protagonist.
Yeah, that wasn't big back then.
Yeah.
I mean, is it really big now?
In horror films, it's usually a family now.
It's
It's
usually-
usually
yeah.
a partnership.
Well, that's because all the big films right now are like paranormal.
Yeah, all in a household. Either like mother-daughter. They love familial stuff.
Actually, even in Scream, it's family because it's
Yeah.
the 2 sisters and then
Yeah.
their 2 friends,
Even
and
in The
usually 1 or
Visit.
2 other people.
Yeah.
Like, it's always a group now.
Familial. There's some family stuff going on right now with this generation of movies.
Because that was our biggest problem. The
Yeah.
core 4
Yeah.
survived.
Yeah.
I mean, not everyone survives this. Only Ash.
Only in the rewrite of Evil Dead 2 when they make him survive. In the end of this one,
Well, it's
he's
kind of
dead.
open-ended. It kind of just goes to his
It
face
does.
and then ends.
I don't know the beginning of Evil Dead Rise 2.
It's okay, because I'm
Okay.
going to make you watch all of them now. Yeah. Because another reason why I wanted to review this is I just got the Groovy Collection box set.
Yeah.
So I just couldn't.
Yeah,
I
everyone
just
knows
couldn't
what
not
the
do it.
Groovy Collection box set is.
If
That's the
they
most
listen to
insane
this,
thing you just said out loud.
if they listen to this podcast, they probably know because they're cool.
You're quoting exactly what Cameron said in episode 1 that I had a problem with him saying, was that
Everyone should just
You
know
said-
everything that I say.
I think, yes, you asked what's the top 5 or something?
yeah.
Like when you talk about the big 5
Okay.
in horror movies. and you asked Cameron, you're like, Cameron, can you repeat what the top 5 are for the audience, for people who don't know? And he's like, well, if you don't know, then you probably shouldn't be listening. And I was listening to the first episode going, well, this is a terrible start to a new listener who wants to learn about horror movies.
Okay, so that joke's been done before.
Yes. I will systematically take out this hipster stuff going on.
Okay, sorry.
here.
What was the question?
I've forgotten. What's the groovy collection?
Okay, right.
Sounds like a Scooby-Doo thing.
Oh my god. So the Groovy Collection consists of Evil Dead 1, The Evil Dead, I guess.
Oh.
Evil Dead 2,
Yeah.
and the Ash vs. Evil Dead TV series.
It doesn't include Back in Time?
Army of Darkness?
That's the
it
one.
does not. Because all 3 movies were different studios, and I'm guessing they couldn't get the rights to that one.
That's interesting.
It sucks. Luckily, I already got it on Blu-ray,
Yeah.
but this is actually my first 4K
Ooh.
movie
with no
set.
4K TV in sight.
No, not yet, but this might have to
Yeah.
persuade me.
Yeah.
Might have to. We'll have to see.
You
It's kind
listening,
of persuaded
Panasonic?
me.
Wink, wink.
Maybe.
That's a shout out at the Panasonic guy listening.
Yeah.
He works at a Best Buy.
I didn't even know that was still a company, to be honest.
Could not be. Could not be.
I know Samsung is.
Samsung, Toyota, Panasonic.
Toyota makes TVs now.
Yamaha.
Eh? That's crazy. That's insane.
I might listen. I don't know what they're getting up to over there in the East.
All right, back to the cabin.
Michigan State University students, 5 of them.
Thank
Male
you.
protagonist, handsome guy.
Calm down.
And he's got a bit of a unibrow in the car, I noticed. And I'm like, ooh, but it's like kind of very 70s.
It is very sad. Well, it's 81.
Yeah.
We just missed it.
Yeah. Wow.
Just missed it. And that car is in every movie that Sam Raimi has done.
Oh,
it's
wow.
crazy.
Oh,
It's
I like
insane.
that car.
I love the first shot when they're entering the cabin or
Yeah.
approaching it, actually.
The car.
Well, not just that. Well, that is a good shot.
That's my favorite.
The cinematography is fucking phenomenal.
Oh,
in this movie.
the evil.
The evil with the swinging.
Yeah, going around the
bench.
logs.
That's the
Yeah.
word, bench.
Yeah.
And it's hitting the door, and as soon as he goes up to the door, it stops,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
no one says anything.
And he just looks, and the 4 of them are just standing there motionless, just kind of carefully watching.
And this is a great example of lingering shots that actually work.
Yeah.
Because they linger on him and his facial expressions for quite a while he's reaching for the keys. He just says, one of these opens the... I heard one of these opens the door, and he looks back, and they're just kind of
they
like
don't say a
waiting there.
word.
Such a good entrance to the cabin. And would you want to stay there after entering it?
God. I feel
It is a very decrepit cabin.
when I try to self-associate with these characters, I think I go crazy because they're insane people. I legitimately think they were all just off their minds, off their rockers. I think
Just
as the
to be there?
characters, just the characters.
Oh, okay.
But the actors play that out very well, which I learned later that the actors actually did get off the rockers for some scenes. I can't self-insert into any of these characters, and I think I like it better that way.
Have you ever stayed in a cabin?
No.
Okay, so maybe that's
Once.
why. Oh, once.
In Muskoka.
Oh,
I
good
think
old
it was a
Muskoka
field trip.
cabin.
And I'm getting all stuffy just thinking about it. You played Left 4 Dead.
Oh, yeah.
You know the witch?
Yeah.
In the middle of the night, I heard a girl scream, and I thought it was the witch from Left 4 Dead.
That would turn me off of cabins.
That turned me off in an instant. Ash Williams brings his honeys into this cabin.
Well, his honey, he's got a girlfriend.
I think he had a thing for all of them.
Sure, whatever. What do you think of the possessions and the look of the Deadites? Because his sister gets possessed first. Actually, maybe we should talk about that.
Okay.
So sister, good old fashioned trope, hears sounds outside. People saying, join us.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, I'm going to go check it out.
Classic.
Yeah, this happens after they find the cellar.
Yes.
They find the book.
Yeah.
And so she goes out into the forest, and we get more of those. This is where the really crazy
This was the
forest
first
shots.
possession, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, 'cause she's like the main
Yeah.
possessed.
Yeah.
Because she's
always there. She's always there.
like you said when we were watching it, she's kind of like the cheerleader
Yes.
for everything
Yeah,
else
yeah.
that's going on from under the
Literally
floorboards.
by the end of it.
Which is funny because I think she could have escaped at any point because she crashes her hands through at one point.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm almost,
enough to squeeze
I almost
out.
think she's just having fun,
Yeah.
like the Deadite
Exactly.
version.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's a very controversial part here where she's running through the forest and the forest attacks
Yes.
her.
Yeah.
And
This was controversial.
well, yeah, 1981 and the vine or the
Yeah.
wood wrapping around her, and
Lot of
then
wood.
fully showing it
A lot
go.
of wood. We didn't see any penetration.
No, but
It
you
was
know,
Japanese
it's
censorship.
there.
It's there, and
It's
it's in your mind,
obvious.
and you're picturing it.
And even Sam Raimi has said that it was a little too
little
much because
risque.
he doesn't want to offend people. He just wants to
Yeah,
like
yeah.
shock people and whatnot. But that's the point where she gets possessed in my
Yeah.
mind.
I think it did it justice because so many people. It's so shocking that people are going to bring it up, and it's evoking a reaction. So I think he kind of nailed exactly what he was going for.
That makes sense.
Yeah, at the cost of some offense.
And that part is
Tis being
really
an
well
artist.
done. The
Yes.
way it just shows shots of the. Are they branches or vines? They look like very thin branches.
Yeah, like they act like vines, but they are visually branches.
Yeah, because could you really twist vines
No.
like that?
I mean, certain
Or
branches. Certain branches are soft
Okay.
enough.
All right. All right.
A real young tree.
But the
you'll be
way
able
they
to do
did that was really cool.
Yeah.
Because you were saying.
I think they did a lot of reverse shots. So I think they wrapped up her leg with like this string painted like a branch, and then they just pulled the string so it unraveled itself.
It looked pretty sturdy when it was going.
Yeah, it did. Maybe they like.
There's not. We were trying to look up like behind the scenes stuff before we started. There's not a
Yeah.
lot of behind the scenes stuff on the first one,
1981.
probably because
Not a lot of cameras.
not a lot of cameras. They were basically
It's
just
film.
trying to get it done.
Yeah.
Because
Running
they
out of
had
money.
to keep stopping, asking people for more money,
Like
starting
homeless
again.
people, they had to go beg on the street
Basically,
Yeah.
they had to go to
Yeah.
doors,
and say, "Hey,
door to door.
we really got to get this tree inside this chick. We need more money, please."
I'm sure they didn't say that.
They would have sold me. That's all I'm saying.
So yeah, she ends up going crazy.
Yeah.
Did you like how it
I liked
introduces
how
them?
I liked how she gradually changed appearance too. The more that the evil inside of her was,
Like decomposing and shit.
yes, like it wasn't afraid to hide because we saw that it has the power to change back if it truly and like relinquish control and take possession back on a whim. So it's all powerful. So I like that. It was trying to keep up a facade at 1st and then just slowly deteriorated once it started getting hit.
And I love the prosthetics in
Yeah,
this too.
so good.
Almost like they almost like clay-like
Yeah.
sort of.
Yeah.
And would you consider them zombies?
What
'Cause
is your
I do-
definition of zombie? And I'll try to see how it relates to mine.
Well, that's up to you. I'm asking you first.
Well, I need reference because
To
our
what?
account. Oh, well, the first thing that comes to mind is demonic possession, infection, and truly. I guess what are zombies? Are they magic? Are zombies
No.
magic?
No, zombies are just like the dead, like the living dead.
Undead, but how are they still? Is it
Depends on what story you look at.
right?
A lot of the
because there's
time, it's some
demonic
sort of
possession,
like.
which I would consider.
Well, that's just it. Most of the time, when it comes to a zombie movie, it's some sort of chemical.
See, that's infection. That I find to be infection side.
Yeah.
Chemical reactions. Anything based in science as an explanation, I put into one category. Something based in demonic possession, I put in another category. I guess, are they all zombies? I'm not sure.
Well,
is
that's
my
just
answer.
it. There, in my mind, this is a zombie movie only because the person inside the body is supposedly completely dead.
Yes.
Once the deadite has
'Cause they
taken
have to
over.
die for
so
it to
technically,
infect.
they're a living
Yes, they are.
dead body. So it's kind of half possession, half zombie
Possession,
in my mind.
I think, because you wouldn't consider. Oh, they can relinquish back control. Well, okay, that.
Well, no, because when you see them as humans again, that's just the deadite
talking through
tricking them.
You might be right. Yeah, because I was. Yeah, don't let it take me control. Yeah, I guess they're just a really good, smart guy.
Yeah, they're smartasses.
I like that a lot. I love a smart evil.
Very Exorcist-like, but you wouldn't understand that 'cause you've never seen that.
I've watched The Exorcist, but I was young enough where I would hide under a blanket every so often. So
That would make sense. It's
yeah,
pretty scary.
Yeah.
Once considered one of the scariest.
Once, not anymore.
Not anymore. No. What was your favorite possession scene?
We got the trees. What are the other ones? Remind me.
It's a good question.
Jesus Christ, you were just looking for me to remind you.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Shaken by the trees. Okay, that's trees.
Well, one of them gets infected when I think she just stabs her in the ankle with the
Yes,
pencil.
and then like digs around a little bit.
Yeah.
And then
I would assume that's how, even though
Right.
there was no real contact between the Deadite
yeah.
and her.
See,
but
we don't really know the rules on this first one. It's not really established.
this is true.
It's just like because the evil has just been seen as this like whooshing thing in the forest that it could just enter you. And so maybe it needs an open wound and then it rushes in from the forest or something.
Something with the blood.
Yeah.
Just gets into the
It
bloodstream.
just gets into the
It's
bloodstream.
just
When-
nasty.
Once they're in a main artery, it's over.
And the other male character, he gets, I was going to say gets dead.
He gets deaded.
Off screen. No, he gets attacked off screen. Because remember, he's the character that runs away. He's
in
like,
the forest,
that's
yeah.
enough of this. I'm leaving. And he runs away and he comes back. And he's all cut up and shit. And he's like, the forest, Ash. She was right. The forest came alive.
And
so
then he just got... Did he get... I'm trying to think if he got possessed.
He does eventually, because he's just kind of sitting there dying, and then Ash is sitting there.
Right.
You loved this
Yeah,
scene
that's
because
right,
Ash
that's
starts
right.
feeding him the,
The water,
like
and it's
water.
just overflowing, and he keeps dropping.
I think that's the point when Ash is like really going crazy
Yeah, yeah.
because he must know something's wrong for
Yeah.
that like mini monologue.
Yeah.
Because he's just talking to him until finally, I guess
just
like
dead.
the water's out, and he's like, "Wait, hello? Are you? No, Scotty.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
it was
that's it.
Scotty. I'm so bad with names, even though it's one of my favorite movies. I haven't seen it in so long though.
Yeah.
So yeah, he gets possessed technically off screen,
Yes.
but we see him slowly get fully possessed.
Yeah.
And
I can't even remember his death.
that's what I mean. It happened when he ran away.
The Deadite death.
Fire.
Fire burned him.
Fire.
When the Necronomicon...
The Necronomicon lit on fire.
Is that actually how he went?
Yeah, because remember he just starts like melting and
Inclination.
smoking. You shouldn't. This is why you shouldn't smoke.
This is why. This is what happens. You turn into clay.
Yeah.
You turn into clay and people take pictures of you every 60 milliseconds.
And
That's
this was
not how it
fun
works.
because we actually rewound this scene a couple times.
Right.
Because we were getting excited. 'Cause
Yes.
1981, and there was like two different
Yeah, there's a
times
composite shot.
going on.
Yeah.
One of the bubbling like
Clay.
clay, and then the bugs moving
Yeah,
around.
the
It's
little
funny
roaches.
because if you really look
Yeah,
closely,
you see the smear line where they kind of like
the
cut
smear
the film.
line and the bugs freeze
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
and jump like forward, like there's missing
Yeah, chopped frames.
I love it. It was so crazy.
Yeah. Thank you, Samuel.
I think my favorite would have to be probably when they had to chop the one person up with the chainsaw.
That's so good. Yeah.
And then the pieces on the floor are just
Yeah,
wiggling
or just
around.
wiggling. It's just people under the deck pushing it up. Oh, I loved how they did it.
And then they had to bury it.
Yeah.
They got really good at digging holes.
Yo, man.
Like so quick.
just and perfectly shaped too. Rectangle perfect. Rectangle perfect. That's what I would call them, Brandon.
Rectangle perfect.
I like to imagine my head to see how far I can push you and to see if I can make you blurt out rectangle perfect without asking, and you do.
Oh, okay.
For evil, and this is what is perfect for Evil Dead Rise because of how slapstick it is, because of how it doesn't take itself seriously, but it still works to create those good horror shots, like to still be scary and to still incorporate slapstick without either of them taking away for each other. You think of them like Fire and Ice, really, slapstick and horror. Mm-hmm. But then the people who can bridge that gap beautifully while still having great slapstick and great horror are truly the Renaissance makers of the industry.
Yes. I agree with you completely.
I was staring into his eyes.
Yeah, it was creeping me out a little bit. But that's okay.
That's okay. Evil Dead. The Evil Dead.
Yes. Also known as the shelf-destroying drinking game. You could have a drink every time
Yeah.
Ash destroys
Yeah.
a bookshelf.
I think you'd get 4.
Yeah, I guess that's not that many.
Do people abbreviate the Evil Dead to Ted?
No.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Maybe that's something we should look into.
Wow.
Get a trademark on that.
And I love the window breaking scene. And it was funny because before we were watching this, one of the things I was telling Steven was how the company that they rented all the recording equipment for, all the cameras and shit, didn't want them to use
Yeah.
their services again because of how damaged everything was. So throughout the whole movie, we were basically pointing out every time the camera would have been getting destroyed. It gets
abused.
covered in
Blood.
blood at one point. It goes through a window. I mean, they nailed it to a board.
Yeah.
I'm sure probably multiple times
Yeah.
to keep it on there.
The car scene where it's smacking into branches on trees.
Yeah, I was gonna say when they're running through the
Yeah.
forest and hitting all the branches.
Yeah.
I'm
Whatever
sure.
the hell's doing that?
I'm sure that dinged it up quite a bit. I'm surprised all the lenses lasted
Yeah,
so long with
they-
all the forest scenes and
I wonder if
shit.
they got just backups.
The greatest thing about some of the atmospheric shots, I
Yep.
guess you would call them, was the way they made the forest look so insanely secluded.
Yeah.
They would make it look like pitch black, but with like fog coming
Yeah,
through,
yeah.
and then the moon was really big.
Yeah.
So to me, it kind of felt like they were in some sort of dark snow globe. Because
Okay.
like the moon was brought down,
Oh,
sort
got
of,
you.
and
Yeah, yeah.
everything just seemed very
Isolated from everything else.
isolated.
Yeah.
And even when they got to the bridge to leave,
Yeah,
the bridge
that's it.
wasn't there. Well,
Yeah.
bridge was out, can't leave.
Yeah. Was it an illusion, you think?
That's a good question.
I don't know if we've ever seen. They don't really do illusionary stuff. They don't make people see
Well, I mean,
things
they-
that aren't there.
I
Do
mean,
they?
when they go back to being normal face,
Right.
like just
I guess in a
human,
way, yeah.
that might be an illusion.
Yeah.
Because it would kind of be hard to just make
Yeah. Skin
rotted
regrow.
skin. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. So they might
So
have
it
even
could
the
be,
mist.
maybe.
The mist could even not even be there
That's a good
because
way to
when
look
it's
at it.
daytime, it just daytime. Clears
I do
mist.
like how daytime like burns them alive
Yeah.
too. That's pretty cool. And I like the story behind the necklace.
Yeah.
The necklace
the
that he
prop.
gets her. One thing I noticed about the necklace is that when they have it on the ground at one point, when he grabs it to
Yeah, to fish
hit-
out or what was he doing? Was
I
he
think-
hitting the Necronomicon into the fire more? Or
doesn't he try to grab it with it? Yeah,
I don't really know.
but when it's laying on the ground, it's in the shape of a skull.
Ah.
Yeah.
Oh.
And what did you think of the Necronomicon?
I liked it.
Because Cameron's favorite Necronomicon is from the remake, which
Okay.
basically looks like this one, but with no face. It's just
Oh,
like
I like the
leather
face.
bound.
Face is more classic to H.P. Lovecraft.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You gotta have the
And
face.
sometimes it talks to you and tempts you.
Yes.
Oh, that, fuck you. Read
Well, at
me.
the end when he's burning it, it has
Yeah.
a fucking like tongue and shit. That is
Oh, and he eats himself.
so cool. It's
Weird.
so cool.
Weirdos.
And I like the fact that there's a face on it because there's a comic book that actually explains
Mm.
that there's a deadite that's like the master deadite, and he doesn't have skin on his face.
so
it was
he's-
his face that was skinned to make at least one of the books.
That's
'cause
very cool.
If you're a fan of the franchise, you know that there's more than one book
It's like
now.
Death Note,
Sure.
where the main Shinigami Ryuk made his own Death Note because he was bored.
Is that a book?
Yeah.
Like I know there
It's a
is
book
a book,
owned by a death god.
and it's called the book itself is called Death Note,
A Death Note, yeah.
and it's made out of human flesh.
No, you could just make him.
Oh. Sure, that's kind of close.
So he made one
Yeah, that's
and
kind of.
transcribed it in English.
Oh,
That's where getting.
that's kind of different because you write names in that. It
Yeah.
isn't like it's not a
Yeah, it's
scripture.
not like he didn't write anything there.
So you're just saying it's a
There's
book.
books.
Oh,
There's books
cool.
in different properties.
Oh,
There's a book in.
I never knew that. What is a book?
I was going to say there's a book in Nacho Libre, and there isn't.
No, there's not. That's a very random property.
I was trying to say books are everywhere, and I couldn't name another movie with a book in it.
The Page Master. There's lots
Never
of
heard
books
of
in
that.
that one. Excuse me.
Fake movie.
You've never heard of the Page Master?
Who's heard of the Page Master?
Anyone that grew up in the 90s.
Well,
Anyone.
I didn't grow up in the 90s.
I thought you did.
I was born in the 90s.
Early 90s.
95.
All right.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I know, and it's a shame. I wish I did.
Page Master, man, get on it. Because there's more books with faces than that. See, at least there's a connection for
Shit.
me.
Shit, they all took from H.P. Lovecraft without him knowing.
God.
They didn't tell him.
That's fun connecting movies
Connecting
like
movies,
that.
Yeah.
Even though it makes no sense, like
No
why you
sense.
would do it.
Why are
but
there books with faces? Where? Where are Blue's Clues?
I never watched Blue's Clues.
See, that was for me. That was for my generation.
It very much was. So
Yeah.
were you happy when the main guy came back?
Oh, I recently saw that.
Did you know he was in college? Were you worried?
I wasn't.
What's his name again? Steve?
I don't live in the. His name is Steve, and I
Wow.
was his friend.
He has a lot of friends.
Yeah, and I'm one of them. And don't you forget it.
I won't.
Didn't think of him in 15 years when he came back to me and said he's in college. And so I didn't really care much for him anymore because I wasn't a child
Because he
anymore.
abandoned you?
No, I just wasn't a child anymore.
Oh.
And I separated myself from my childhood.
So you didn't get excited when there was a movie with him in it?
No, I didn't even
Teaming
know.
up with the new Blues Clues?
I didn't even know.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. He's back, man.
Good luck to him.
He's back.
I wish him the best.
And we should get back
To
to a little more Evil Dead. A little more.
Just a little taste. Because when you taste your own face, such a disgrace.
How did you like this compared to Evil Dead Rise? Since that's
oh my
the
God,
only other one
they're not even
you've seen.
they shouldn't even speak of each other's name. How far apart they are. Like the slapstick, maybe. Like it was. What do we do in Evil Dead?
There was
Rise?
like a couple slaps. It was very more on the.
They did the eyeball
the
scene that
horror
already was
side.
in the number 2.
No, we saw we saw the eyeball scene in this one. So
But
yeah,
that was a callback. So that was an original slapstick on their part. None of the actors are fit to do any slapstick humor in Evil Dead Rise. And it was just I would actually lower my score after watching this for Evil Dead Rise because
Ooh.
it speaks the same name. Of this film.
Wow, that's interesting.
'Cause that's a fuck you to Sam Raimi. I think
It really felt like someone
how creative
trying-
a director he was.
Yeah.
That's for not doing anything ballsy in Evil Dead Rise. I would say that's a huge fuck you to the franchise.
And that's what my biggest thing is that there's enough movies now that you don't have to keep doing callbacks every single time.
Yeah.
You don't have to keep doing the same deaths. You don't have to keep doing the same weaponry
Yeah.
and shit. Change it up. Or even the dagger that we see in this one.
Yeah.
I don't think that comes up again in any movie. It comes up in the show, but
Yeah,
I'm
because
pretty
the show
sure
is-
it doesn't come up in anything else.
And I was just going to say,
like remake on.
the trilogy
least.
shows just how creative you can be without losing anything and making each one unique in its own way. Whereas Evil Dead Rise was like, it has no semblance to this trilogy whatsoever other than using the name and the Necronomicon.
Yeah, and like we said, everything in
Random
that one
possession.
seemed very circumstantial.
Yeah. They're on the grounds of it. They're in
Yeah.
the forest.
The book is there in a place that's already accessible
Yeah.
and seen. Like it's not even under a blanket or anything like that. It's just in the cellar where
Yeah.
the cellar door is right there in the middle of the living room.
In Evil Dead Rise, do we ever see a sweeping shot of the evil?
I don't believe so.
When
Only
they
in the
read?
beginning when they tease
And that
it.
wasn't even it. That was just an actual drone.
That was just a drone.
Yeah.
And I almost think that's why they opened the movie with something that didn't actually have to do with the Evil Dead Rise movie.
This isn't it, guys. That was just a drone.
And that was a future. That was a
Yeah,
future.
that was a future.
Scene because
Yeah.
that happens after the events. Because
Yeah.
it says 2 days earlier.
Yes. That's
So
right.
yeah, there's no drone. There's
Yeah.
no evil POV shot.
Yeah. Wow.
Which I really thought there was gonna be like in the elevator they could have done it. Like in
yeah.
the elevator.
Yeah.
In the air ducts when she's in the air
yeah,
ducts.
if they're ever running away from something, it could be a chase shot.
Unless they did it when they were in the parking garage, but not long enough to really know, like to realize it.
I just realized again that I hated that movie.
Yeah.
I remember talking a lot of shit about it, how they run away and look and run away and look. Oh my god, it shouldn't share the same name. It gives me shivers if I even think that it shares the same name. This is
See,
such a creative
that's
movie,
interesting.
Evil Dead.
See? This is why it's fun to have a co-host that will see any movie in a franchise
Yeah.
before the first one.
Yeah, exactly.
Because then you can get that
Yeah.
kind of viewpoint of,
Yeah.
wow, why am I forgetting?
Mutual understanding, I don't know, a fresh
Yeah.
outlook on things,
Yeah.
a breath of virginity.
A breath of fresh ass.
Like a virgin's breath. Whispering in the night.
That's odd.
That was good. That's what he's
Was that
whispering.
good? Was that so smart?
No, that's the virgin's breath
Oh.
after he
Oh.
had sex.
Now,
That was good.
here's my... Well, they couldn't really leave the cabin, but what would you have done in the situation after finding the book and this shit going down? I'm curious.
Me, the human that sits before you today.
Yeah. It's tough. I don't know what I might pee my pants at one point.
How they were strong, right? They were provably stronger than me, physically. Like if you attacked one, they would throw you against a shelf.
Oh yeah, because they were throwing them all over the place
Yeah.
like rag dolls. Ash especially.
I would look
That's
for
why
a-
Bruce Campbell is awesome. He just throws himself all over the place.
Phenomenal. Oh,
Oh,
phenomenal.
wait till you watch the second one.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, it
'Cause
looks
that's
like
amped up to 11.5.
you can't give a rating of that.
I just did. Because
You
it's
heard it here
deserving.
first. The unmade Evil Dead 2 rating 11.5. The unmade
Out of the
podcast.
5 that we
Out of
usually
the
rate
5 that
things
we
out of.
usually
That's
rate.
crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. We got our PPPP here with us, and we took some big bites. PPPP stands for Pepperoni Pan Pizza. Sam Raimi made The Evil Dead. Now, is there some connection in your mind to The Walking Dead? Why do the titles sound so similar?
Well, because every zombie related thing has dead in the title.
Name 5.
Really? Seriously, dude?
Did I ask a question?
Seriously? Do I have to give
commanded
you a history lesson? I can do one franchise.
I said name 5.
Night of the Living Dead,
Uh-huh.
Day of the Dead,
Yeah.
Dawn of the Dead, Land of the Dead,
Yeah.
Diary of the Dead,
That's crazy.
Return of the Living Dead,
Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead, Children of the Dead.
Children of the Corn.
There's no dead in that. Evil
Yeah,
Dead.
but there was... Okay.
Have I proved? Am I good? Am I good now? Have I qualified for
Do
your
one more.
whatever this is? Do one more. Well, now you're just putting me on the spot.
Well, I'm not satisfied.
Dead Alive. Boom.
That was you mixed up the formula.
I did not.
Linda later returns and tries to stab Ash.
Did you like that scene? Is that why you're bringing it up?
Yes.
It's a great scene.
Because when Linda returns to stab Ash,
Everyone stabs Ash.
was Linda a Deadite by that time?
Obviously.
Everyone stabs Ash. What is this?
Well, they're all Deadites.
The
They want
Shakespeare-
to. They want to kill Ash. What are you talking
Et
about?
tu, Brute,
Where's this coming from?
Julius
We've already
Caesar.
talked about the ending. I thought we were close to being done.
No, we have to talk about Julius Caesar, the Shakespeare,
What?
because he got stabbed, and he said "et tu, Brute" because a bunch of people stabbed him. I think that's what they did. They did Julius Caesar in Evil Dead. Sam Raimi's a genius,
I don't do a lot of Shakespeare.
and I don't do a lot of drugs.
All right, I don't know about that at this point. One of the things I was gonna say when we were doing the whole Evil Dead Rise tangent,
Yeah,
how they used the dagger in this one.
yeah.
I really wish there was a different. I think it's Tandarian dagger.
Oh,
I think that's what they called it. I wish there was a different Tandarian like weapon for each book.
okay. Yeah,
So
yeah.
maybe one some sort of
It's like paired to the
axe,
book. Yeah, yeah.
Or I don't know what other kind of
Sword.
medieval.
Throwing a
I
sword.
don't know. That dagger's pretty big because it's pretty much like a Peter Pan sword.
Yeah, yeah. Like a rapier. That's what they're called.
Oh, is that what they're called?
It's what Puss
Are
in
those
Boots
act-
uses.
Okay, are
The
those
fencing.
actually used for something?
For in fencing now, the sport rapiers.
No, not like a thin
sabers.
sword.
Oh.
I just mean a short sword. Because when you see Peter Pan, it's like you know how he has like that little dagger.
I haven't seen Peter Pan.
The Disney Peter Pan. You've really never seen Disney's Peter Pan. Wow. You blow my mind on a day-to-day basis, dude. Did they like keep you in a cage when you were a
I watched
kid?
Monsters Inc.
Oh, I guess Peter Pan is older.
Yeah.
But kids watch all like once you watch one Disney movie, you want to watch them all, don't you?
I watched Aladdin.
Okay, that's good.
People said I looked like Aladdin.
Okay, that's good.
It isn't.
No,
I had to ride so
the
many
swords
magic
in that are not
carpets.
small. Those are those
Yeah.
like big bladed.
Yes.
I
The
don't
thing
know
in
what-
Bugs Bunny.
I don't know what those are
He
called.
wouldn't. Bugs Bunny took a wrong turn at Albuquerque, and the guy standing at the gate.
With the staff, with that kind of blade on
You're
it.
right. No, I'm thinking of a thing. No, I think he has Hassan Chop
I don't.
scimitars.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Those look heavy.
Yeah, dude. They're like foil. You could wobble them.
Really?
They're just good
so
for
they're just really
slicing.
thin.
Yeah.
Oh. See, I don't know much about swords. I like seeing swords in movies.
Yes, you do.
I love like medieval movies and shit.
You love a good slice.
Which is why it's going to be fun when we get to
Go
Army
to
of
medieval
Darkness.
times.
Have you ever been to medieval times?
No, I didn't know we had one.
This is a crazy tangent episode.
This is a tangent of horror.
There's been some horror.
Hey.
Horror. Okay, no, but yeah. What could the third one be other than a sword? There's already a dagger. I think
Yeah.
an axe would be good.
Axe
So like
is
a
cool.
barbarian like axe with the
Crossbow.
Ooh.
Or like a bow and arrow or something.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Even if it was just like the bow with no string and they like put a string on it or some
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, exactly. They find something.
See, that would be fun.
Yeah.
Instead of just redoing scenes and deaths
Yeah.
and whatnot. Like I like when they do the same Like when the Deadites say the same things
Yes.
from other movies.
Yeah, yeah.
Like Dead by Dawn when they
Yeah.
were chanting
Yeah, yeah.
that, they do that in the second movie.
Ah.
But that makes sense because the Deadites want to kill them before dawn because they don't
die.
like the sunlight.
Yeah, they're vampires.
So that was good. Should we wrap it up on The Evil Dead, though?
I really liked when Mr. Bruce Campbell, whenever he stabbed them with the dagger, he like reached around to their back really slowly and jabbed in towards himself.
Which is very...
That's a ballsy move.
it's a ballsy move because it could have got him, too.
Could have got him.
It's a big dagger.
Ooh, and it's so sharp.
All right.
The Evil Dead. Ted.
Great effects.
Great effects.
Okay, so since you watch a lot of like more modern movies,
Yeah.
does it bother you to see like claymation and stuff? Does it
Not
take
at
you
all.
out at all?
Taking me out again. So the way I kind of view this movie is I'm not necessarily watching a movie for a phenomenal plot at this point. I'm looking this at more of a painting. I'm looking at this more of an expression and like getting away with things in terms of kind of pussyfooting a movie together. I don't know why I use that word.
It's an interesting word.
And it was an interesting movie, and I liked how far they tried to push the limits while still maintaining uneasiness and fear and slapstick all together from beginning to end.
So as long as it's used well.
Yeah. And I think yeah, during the scene I was there with the movie while it was happening. Absolutely. I don't think it took me out anywhere.
Claymation is crazy. I couldn't imagine claymation or even like stop motion, any of that stuff where it's just like...
It adds to the creepiness. Like, it made it creepy. It was unsettling. It was unnatural.
It looks unworldly, like otherworldly.
Yes, very much so. And in 1981, that hits hard.
And that's what's going to be fun when you get to Army of Darkness, because he still uses that, plus stop motion, plus new ways to do shit.
There's a word for that.
Awesome?
Correct.
Yeah.
That's an adjective for it. Well, there's a noun for it as well.
I almost want you to rewatch the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies now again.
Yeah.
Just because you're going to see
shots
like camera shots.
Yeah.
Like the full, like the zoom into the eyes. And like when people are in deep conversation, it kind of does the close-up to show the emotion of the eyes and stuff.
So I'm trying to think of my head of a rating. And
it's rating time.
It's not below a 4.8.
Ooh.
And I can't find a reason not to give it a 5 right now. And I'm thinking of a reason. So give your rating.
I'm not going to lie. It's a 5 out of 5 for me.
Yeah, I think I might agree. Because I'm really trying to pick apart in my mind. It was just a joy to watch all the way through.
It's a joy to watch. It's got, like what you were saying, it's got the perfect mix of everything. Yeah. It's still creepy.
Yeah.
The effects they still hold up, even though they are kind of outdated, probably to most people, I would say. But if you're watching the movie as a whole and you can just lose yourself even in some of it, you'll be fine for the rest, in my mind, especially knowing how kind of goofy and over the top the rest of the franchise is and that it's supposed to be that way. And in my mind, we don't know what otherworldly shit looks like.
Yeah.
So to even just that alone to me is a perfect excuse for the book to look the way it does when it's burning.
Exactly, yeah.
Or the
There's
deadites
no
melting the way they do, or bubbling, or having bugs come out of them.
Yeah, exactly.
One thing that's cool that I never told you, the white eyes that they have were like giant glass fucking
like marbles.
Lenses. Yeah.
Oh, lenses.
That they could only wear for like 15 minutes at a time.
Ooh, my God. Oh.
Yeah, they went through hell on the set of this movie.
Thank God for technology.
Because I think Sam Raimi like slept on set so that people wouldn't steal all the cameras and shit.
My God.
And
it
was hot.
It's because the actresses were talking about how they all stayed in like the same room together. Oh my God.
Sounded like a fun movie though.
Yeah.
Those are the best movies because then at least when you look back, like I know most movies, like all movies are hard work.
Yeah.
But when it's almost like
When it's literal blood, sweat, and tears, you're living it.
And you're basically doing jobs that, like, if you're doing a major motion picture, there'd be
Yeah.
like security guards to look after the stuff all night.
Yeah.
But you
A
don't have
union.
that. You have to do it.
A
Like,
union.
just when you're part of, like, just such a small,
Yeah.
kind of like the first Halloween film, there was just a small,
Yeah,
like, group
small
of people
crew,
that made it.
very intimate.
Those always seem like the most fun. And if I ever was part of a movie in this
Yeah.
time or another lifetime or
Yeah.
something, that even if
Yeah.
it was one film, an indie film like that,
It would just be.
it just
that-
seems like it would
yeah,
be so much more
a real
fun.
passion project, truly.
Yeah, 5 out of 5 for me.
Yeah, I think so too. And so, but one thing I am curious to find out: the movies after this get more slapstick and less horror. Am I correct to say?
I would say part 2 does this one even more justice
Okay.
in the sense that it's the perfect blend of both.
Yeah.
And then Army of Darkness is more slapstick.
Is this the most horror-focused one?
No, part 2's pretty
Okay.
scary as well.
Okay.
Because it was basically part 1 and then part 2 feel like
Well,
actual sequels.
Yeah, yeah.
Except that part 2 has more budget. And then
Okay.
part 3 kind of brings in more of the
Yeah.
slapstick medieval setting.
The
So
Naked
it's kind
Gun.
of... It's hard to have... In my mind, it's kind of hard to have a medieval movie that's really scary because we don't really live in
Right.
medieval times.
Yeah.
But it's still just as amazing because there's still crazy deadites and...
No, they did it in Indiana Jones when he doesn't drink from the correct Holy Grail and he turns into a skeleton in an instant.
I mean, that's still sort of modern.
Horror.
Not modern, but like...
You're right. It's like
It's not medieval times.
It's just a different place.
Medieval
in the world.
times.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're gonna wrap it up there.
The
We've
Evil
talked about
Dead.
everything. It's
Yeah.
fucking awesome. If you
Yeah.
haven't seen it,
Great
why are
flick.
you listening to this?
Stop. No, see, you did it again.
No, I mean,
you
like,
listen to
why would
this-
you listen to this before seeing it?
Because they love us. They
well,
love
that
us.
too.
They're here for us.
Well, if they haven't seen it, go see it.
Go see it, guys.
It's a big recommend.
And it's got. And I love Mr. Bruce. He
Mis-
does a funny
Mr.
face,
Bruce.
Mr. Bruce.
He does a funny face.
when his eyes bug out.
Oh, dude, the one scene when he turns and it
And then the eyes
the
are-
close up,
he's
he's
covered
just
in
got
blood.
the perfect like 50s
Yeah.
persona face because like the big chin and
He
almost
reminds me of like
the Elvis
Patrick
hair.
Warburton. I feel like he drew a lot of inspiration from him. Patrick Warburton.
Yeah,
they have, like,
that's
same
what I was thinking,
mannerisms.
too.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah,
That's insane. You're like in my brain.
I watched Seinfeld.
That's true. I do too.
Oh.
And maybe our listeners do as well, but that's not what we're talking
That's
about.
not what
So
we're
if
talking
you want to
about.
follow us,
Follow us
Twitter.
on Twitter.
that's a good one. And
Tangents
Instagram.
of horror on Twitter. Is that right?
Yeah. If you just type it in anywhere, you
just will
might
get
find
us.
us if we're there.
We should make like a link tree. You ever hear those newfangled things?
There's one in our Twitter.
There's one on our Twitter. Guys, go to our Twitter right now to check out our link tree.
It's crazy. It's insane. It gives you all the links to everything that we're a part of.
What?
And you can be a part of it too.
I could. Are you talking to me? Who's in the room with us? Where am I?
I was talking to our audience, Steven.
Ooh.
They can be a part of the fun too.
Are you recording this
I
whole
want
conversation?
them to tell us what they think of this movie
Guys.
and all the movies we review
And about
what
Mr.
movies
Bruce.
we should review.
What should we review?
That's what I'm asking them.
They should answer.
Right.
Who was on first?
I don't know. Not Mr. Bruce.
Shelley Duvall. I don't know who that is.
Well, this has been
Tangents of horror. I thought we were going to say it together like cuties.
Well, we did say
Oh, we
it.
did. But you fell off by the end there. This has been Tangents.
Are we doing different takes of it now?
Well, hey, we gotta. Hey, leave us in the comments which one take is better. What does your synth melody sound like? You've never told me.
What, you should just listen to the
Oh.
episode.
Ba-da-da-boo-ba-boo-ba. Something like that.
That was very close. That was crazy.
She's got